Hello everyone, hope we are doing well. I feel a bit better this morning. They had grumpy Gio last night after the game because I was trying to cling to the positives. I kept trying to remind myself it's only half time in the tie. There's only a goal in it. We can go on and do this. And what I saw from Frankfurt, while they were impressive, there was also some signs of weakness there. And while I thought we weren't at our best, I thought we did okay. I thought we played well last night. There was a few good performers, a few not so good performers as well. But I was trying to cling to the positives. It was just difficult. It felt like at full time, it felt like somebody had took out my heart, stomped on it and put it back in a little bit. So I was struggling to sort of shake off that emotion of disappointment. But this morning I woke up with that sort of Sparta attitude about me. Going, come on man. I had it after the first leg against Lyon for a different reason. That was due to injustice, if you like, to the referee's performance and the way that Lyon were play acting. But I've got that hunger this morning. I think it helps that we've got Arsenal on Sunday. You can immediately turn your attention to that game, that you can put Frankfurt at the back of your mind. It's in the past now. We'll focus on the Arsenal game, and I can't decide if the Arsenal game's got more important because we lost last night, so the league's got a little bit more important than it perhaps was, or has it got less important in the sense that we're only a goal in it and we need to rest the players again ahead of the second tie. But I'll deal with that in the Arsenal preview with Gonzo later today. This video is about last night. So there's some negatives and positives, unfortunately. I'm going to start with some positives, actually, because when I did my video last night, I was on the way home. I got in about 3 o'clock, but on the way home, I was having a read of some people in the comments, seeing what they thought of the game. It was very mixed. Some people thought we played well, we were really unlucky. Others were, a bit like myself, just really disappointed, actually, and they'd almost numb to some extent. But there were some people that left some really good logical comments, which I was probably struggling with last night. I was struggling to remove the emotion. I think when you have to make big decisions in life, I know, and this wasn't one of them, but it's important that you remove as much emotion as possible and look at it almost black and white. And I find it difficult to do that. When emotion's involved, it clouds your judgment to some extent. And last night was a bit of that for me because I was just that gutted. Like, honestly, it felt like someone had taken my heart out, stomped on it and put it back in and said, go record a video. Obviously I didn't have to record a video, but I chose to after the game because I wanted to get my honest, raw feelings and thoughts out there. But this morning, a bit different, a bit clearer. Anyway, going back to the comments in the review, there was a couple of people which made a really good point, and I think it's almost motivated me. I think I'm clinging to that, actually. And that was that when we went into the second leg against Sevilla, we were obviously a goal down. Went away to Lyon for the second leg. Yes, it was 1-1, but we were missing Aaron Creswell. Went away to Lyon, we won 3-0. So it was almost like second leg knockout stage, if you like. We're good at that. And I thought, I'm having that little bit of positivity. And there was more positivities. On another night, we win that game. It was centimetres in the difference between 2-1 Frankfurt and 3-2 West Ham. We hit the woodwork 3 times. They hit the woodwork once, of course. But that's how close it could be. It was almost like a little bit of luck, Bowen's effort at the end might hit the keeper, might fall for one of our players on another day, might just go in, might come down off the bar and go in or something. Centimetres in it. But this is where the negativity comes in. A friend of mine said to me last night, I don't know, an hour after the game maybe, he messaged me and he said, it doesn't feel like I've been to a European semi-final. And I could completely understood what he meant. I think their goal in the first minute of the game, it changed it. And when I say it changed it, I don't just mean the game itself. I think it changed the atmosphere completely. I think we struggled a little bit, the crowd. I think we struggled to get going because it was almost like a shock factor. The build up to the game, there was absolutely no doubt the atmosphere was building. It was hard not to feel the atmosphere. Outside the ground, even queuing up, people were singing on the concourse before the game. It was lively, lots of songs, everybody was buzzing, real optimism, a bit of confidence, excitement, all that. Then you get out into the bowl itself, and the DJ's there pumping out his tunes, his West Ham Massive song, Bones on Fire, the crowd are all singing along, and the bubbles come out, and the hairs on your neck stood up, you've got goosebumps, everything, atmosphere-wise, was on point. Everything was fantastic. And then Frankfurt scored, and there was almost just this shock, I guess, around the crowd. And I think we struggled to get going after that. Those spells, the crowd were good, but I think generally I thought it didn't really feel like a semi-final atmosphere. And I'm not trying to sort of pick out anyone or anything. It was a collective thing. There was 60,000 of us there, and I do put it down to them scoring in the first minute. I think it had the knock-on effect there, and also on the team itself, but also on the crowd. And I think that sort of stifled it a little bit. So I could completely understood what my friend said when he said he didn't feel like he'd been to a semi-final. But it was always going to be tough. You concede in the first minute of the game is always going to change things. As for us, I've watched the highlights back. I haven't watched the whole game back. I will do later on today before we do the player ratings, but I've not watched the whole game back yet. Just the extended highlights if you want. The first goal's not great. You can tell it's in the first minute. Does that make sense? Everybody's just a little bit slow. Declan Rice is marking this space rather than the man, which I understand he does it quite often and usually it works. But it's a really good run from Bora coming from the right hand side to the left hand side for Frankfurt. So it takes Zuma. Zuma ends up directly behind Craig Dawson, which you never want your centre backs being lined up behind each other. Lovely little ball into Bora, turns, lovely ball into back post. And when you see Fornals, he's watching North's run for ages. As soon as Kamada's got the ball at halfway line for Frankfurt and he's coming forward, Fornals is, 10, 15 yards ahead of his man. Watching the ball, watching the ball. And the last time Fornals looks at him, he's still like 5 yards away from Fornals. So Fornals is actually, at this point, in a good position. The problem is, as soon as Bora gets the ball and turns, North's on his way. And Fornals hasn't noticed it. Ball comes in. It's not quite a free header. It almost feels like a free header, doesn't it? There's a half-hearted attempt from Fornals to put his foot up. He's just switched off. Good movement from the striker, but this is what he does. He's not the most prolific goal scorer. He's a bit like Antonio, funny enough. I know Antonio went on to score, but recently, Antonio's good games, he hasn't been scoring, but he's been playing well in the build-up. Not all of them, but some of the games he's had some good performances. And that is what Bora can do for Frankfurt. He's not necessarily the most prolific goal scorer in the league, but his movement's good, his creativity's good, and he's a large part of the build-up. And we were going to see this continuing for the rest of the game. And one thing I think we struggled with, I can only comment about the second half, really, because the first half they're shooting towards the Bobby Moore stand, and we're in the Sir Trevor stand, so it's hard. You can see it, but it's difficult to really get a full overview of the formations and tactics, if you like, from that half. So in the second half we could see more of what Frankfurt were doing from an offensive standpoint, and I thought we really struggled with their striker. There was a couple of occasions Rice was screaming at Zuma and Dawson because the ball would come up for Frankfurt and he stood 10 yards away from our centre. He's in this gap. There's, a 25-yard space between our centre-backs and Declan Rice, because the game is stretched a bit, and he's just in the middle of it. So every time Frankfurt wanted an out ball, they had him. They were able to just put it into his feet, put it into his chest. He had 2 or 3 touches, and he was able to turn and face our defence relatively easy. And you could see Rice screaming at Zuma and Dawson, telling them, one of you have got to step out and come with him. You can't allow the striker to get that much space. And it was almost a contributing factor to their second goal as well, which is just poor defending. I've got a saying, for you that watch this channel regularly, you'll know I've got a saying: show me a goal, I'll show you a mistake. And there's quite a few of them here, isn't there? The Souček. So is Souček's man, he's in front of him, gives the ball a move, Souček doesn't really track him, and then Kamada has a shot. It's a world class save from Areola, absolute unbelievable save. I thought Kamada was ready to score, to be honest with you. It was a fantastic little move, goes in between Ben Johnson and Ben Johnson and Dawson. He goes right in between the two of them. Really good run, really good little 1-2, in he goes, good save from Areola, and Kamada has moved and Kurt Zuma hasn't, essentially. Zuma stood there next to him, watched the ball, watch it get saved, and he still doesn't move then. He realises his man's just knocked into the back of the net. Fantastic goal from Frankfurt, but defensively just really un-Moyes-like, if that makes sense. Before the game, someone was asking me how to sort of summarise Frankfurt without going into it too heavy. And I suggested that they're not too dissimilar to like an Everton David Moyes, if you like, and I would still stand by that. And when I talk about that, I mean like their work ethic, their organisation, and they've got enough flavour in that team as well, and we saw it. But anyway, about West Ham, so let's talk about West Ham. That's sort of the negativity bit for now. We obviously got our goal, Michail Antonio. I genuinely, hand on heart, thought it was Declan Rice. The ball comes over, Kurt Zuma heads it, and I thought it was Declan Rice that put it in. Initially, I thought the keeper done enough to keep out, so you can get my perspective of the goal. It looked like it hadn't crossed the line. But then when I realised it was a goal, I thought it was Declan Rice's goal, until they said it was Michail Antonio. But that's what we needed, and it gave the crowd a lift. That's when the crowd got going. Frankfurt fans were quiet for the first time in the game, and we had a little bit of momentum then. And I thought we played, do you know something, over the 90 minutes this is, I thought we played well. We weren't fantastic, we weren't dreadful. I thought there was 1 or 2 poor performers, I thought there was 1 or 2 good performers. I think everybody else played okay, 5, 6 out of 10s if you like, and so we had our 2 good ones and our 2 not so good ones. Formation in the first half, I'll be honest with you, I was struggling to work it out. I couldn't tell we were playing a back 3 or back 4. I needed clarification from a couple of people after the game. I said to them, what formation did you think we were playing? They thought we were playing a back 3. I think in the second half I thought we switched our forward because Fornals then moved into the number 10 position, particularly when Saeed Benrahma came on, who still frustrated, isn't he? He made a difference, he made an impact. Obviously hit the post, risky to skin the Frankfurt players there, because if he loses it, Frankfurt was like 3-on-1 on a counter-attack. But he added that little bit of something. In the video last night, Moyes, I know Moyes in his interview after said we were lacking quality. I called it spice in the final third. I stand by my word. I quite like that word, spice, because we were just missing that in the final third. And that's despite hitting the woodwork 3 times. The first one, I thought Souček played the wrong pass when I was in the stadium because Antonio was making the run. So I was in my head, I'm screaming, pass to Antonio, slides it through to Jared Bowen, turns out to be the right ball, and it's actually a fantastic save. I thought Bowen just hit the post, watching it back on the highlights, the keeper gets his foot to it and it's just enough to divert it onto the post. Another day that goes in, another day the keeper don't get there, or he still does but it's just not enough. Just unlucky from Jared Bowen. Saeed Benrahma hits the post, again just unlucky, audacious effort. It would have been a stunning goal had that had gone in, but he just had a shot. I think we were just starved of anything really at this point. So when Benrahma had that, again it got the crowd going. Declan Rice ran over, high-fived him as if to say, at last we've got somebody come on that can do a bit of this, because Lanzini had been quiet, Fornals had been poor, Antonio was poor. So Benrahma just brought that little bit of something, because I thought Jared Bowen had a really good game. I thought Bowen was our second best player behind Declan Rice. I thought he was good. I think he had their defence sort of pinned back as much as he wanted whenever he got it. He'll have a tougher opponent in the second leg. Ndicka will be back for Frankfurt. That will be tougher for Jared Bowen, their first choice, in my opinion, their best centre-back. So you'll have him to contend with rather than the Frankfurt team last night. But he did well. I thought Bowen played well. That overhead kick, so I mean, the more I watch it back, the unluckier it gets, really. Decent enough ball in from Declan Rice, but there's a lot to be done. It's not on anyone's head. It requires invention from Jared Bowen, which is something for 90 minutes we've struggled with. We've struggled to create anything. But what an overhead kick that is. The power in that is unbelievable. The crossbar bends. When you watch it, you can see the crossbar goes, that's the crossbar, the bird's eye view of the crossbar. It bends, it's boing, it boings, it boing, it boings. And more you watch it back, you just think, oh God, he thunders it off the bar. Couldn't do anything better, Jared Bowen. He's done all he can. Like I said, in another day, and this is not why we've lost. We haven't lost because the ball didn't come off the keeper's arse and go in. But how many times have you seen something like that happen and it does hit the keeper, or it lands to one of your teammates, or it lands to the defender but you can't do anything with it? Unfortunately, it goes to a Frankfurt defender and he puts it out for a corner. What I will say, I thought our set pieces were poor last night. Their keeper got far too much. I assume Antonio was on the goalkeeper. Again, the second half, the first half felt like the corners were okay. Don't recall the keeper catching too much in the first half. Second half, I felt like he caught everything. Any free kick, any throw-in, any corner, catch by their keeper. Really good, like Nick Pope kind of levels of stuff. But every time we got a corner, it felt like he just came and claimed it. And this is where it's almost like, have we got anyone stopping him getting out? Have we got anyone trying to box him in, kind of thing? But frustrating. Anyway, let's end positivity, right? Let's end with some positivity, because from what I saw from Frankfurt, they were good. Frankfurt were good. Some really good counter-attacking play, but we knew that. Nothing I seen from Frankfurt last night is new. I didn't see anything that I did not expect from Frankfurt. We expected that performance. We expected that formation. We expected that lineup. That is the team we thought Frankfurt would play. I thought Frankfurt would play that starting 11. I'm pretty sure Moyes knew Frankfurt would play that starting 11. I knew Frankfurt would play that formation. I'm pretty sure Moyes knew. The style, everything Frankfurt did last night was what they do on a weekly basis. There was no surprise elements whatsoever. So we can't... It's not like they sprung a surprise and we were a bit unprepared for it. There was none of that. So we knew what we were getting and we got it. And I thought we did okay with it. I think they looked quite good on the break. I thought we looked relatively well on the break. Usually, defensively, we were quite switched on. I thought we were poor last night. I thought we struggled to get close to Bora, who, like I said, occupied what I would call the Harry Kane space. Kane's world-class at it in the Premier League, just dropping off the defence, but not so far that the midfield can pick him up. I thought Bora was doing that loads and loads of times last night, and we struggled with it. But we've now got enough evidence for David Moyes to go away and come up with something for next week, and I've got faith that he will. I think we've seen it with Lyon, we've seen it with Sevilla, where the boys come up with a game plan, and you can scout another team as much as possible, but I always think until you play them, while I say you won't learn anything, there's no surprises. There is no surprises, but you may learn stuff. You may just learn something. You may, I don't know what they might have noticed last night. I'm not sure. I'm not a professional coach. I'm just a gobby opinionated Scotsman on the webcam. I expect we will have a little bit of a game plan next week. I expect to see Vladimir Coufal right back. I think if I have any criticisms of the manager last night, would have liked to have seen a couple of substitutions after the Said Benrahma one. I think Coufal coming on for Ben Johnson would have been one. I think Johnson was in trouble from the first minute. So as soon as they scored, which I don't blame Ben Johnson for, I've seen some people blame him. I don't think he did anything wrong. He goes with Kostic. Kostic is on the overlap. He goes with his man, but not too far over. He's in the right position. But the reason I say that is because as soon as we went a goal down, the pressure was on us to attack, and I think that's where Ben Johnson's game's lacking a little bit. I think we had him on there from the defensive standpoint. I think Moyes probably felt out of the three right back options, he's the best defensive player. Don't disagree. So he's put him up there against Kostic. I understand. He's their best player. He's Frankfurt's best player. Not last night, just ability and overall. That is their main threat. And funnily enough, the cross did come from the left-hand side for their goal, but it wasn't Kostic. But as soon as they scored, it was almost like, well, West Ham are going to have to attack now. And almost Ben Johnson is now the wrong right back to have on the pitch. Coufal is probably the correct right back, in my opinion, to have on the pitch for his offensive gameplay. So I expect him to play the second leg in Frankfurt because the pressure's on us now. I think to some extent we're the underdogs going in the second leg. I think that will help us. But also at the same time the pressure's on us because we need to score, or we have to score a minimum of one goal, otherwise we're out. Obviously if we score just one, win 1-0, it goes to extra time. So the pressure is on West Ham next week. But the pressure was on us when we played Sevilla at home at the London Stadium, and we had like the perfect performance from the boys, and we can do this. I've got complete faith. Like I said, on another night we win that game 3-2. It's fine margins. I thought the boys tried hard. I think would have liked to seen a bit more oomph, if you like. Is that the word? Oomph? To some extent, but I thought we were disciplined. We didn't get carried away. We didn't let the occasion get to us. Did I see nerves from us? I don't think so. I wouldn't say so. I thought we played well. I think we play like that, not against Arsenal maybe, but we play like that against Norwich next week. We win. Frankfurt are just a bit better than Norwich. That's all. A bit more clinical too. But listen, all to play for next Thursday. Pressure's all on them. Bit of a blow last night. Still a bit gutted, I'm not going to lie. I'm still a little bit about it because I had hopes. I was feeling quite optimistic, quite confident. Not as confident as Gonzo, but still relatively confident. And anyway, I'm going to shut up now. I'll be back later tonight with the preview of the Arsenal game. Looking forward to it, actually. I'm looking forward to the distraction, if you like, from the Europa League, which is just getting stuck into Arsenal on Sunday. Still a big game for us. 6th place is still up for grabs. 7th is a must, if you like. I think it's pressure on time now. We need to make sure we get 7th in the league, just in case next Thursday doesn't go our way. But anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you until later on this evening. If you enjoyed this video, please do drop a like, comment, subscribe if you're new to the channel as well. Leave your comments below with what you thought of last night. I'll be back later today to have a look at what you're all saying and get chatting to some of you. I'm trying to do a bit better with that. Catch you in a bit.